Is everybody good?
I don't need tickets for that.
Go ahead. What was the 48 hours like from hearing that Kyrie had requested a trade from Brooklyn to you guys executing that trade on Sunday?
Once that initially came across, then we had to figure out if it was real or not. And then once we found out that it was real and actionable, then we just started kind of going into work and what it would take to get him. So it was a fast-paced 48 hours.
What do you think? I mean, obviously the guy's a brilliant offensive basketball player. What kind of impact do you think Kyrie makes for you guys?
Well, I think we can go up against any team. We match up against any team, and I think a lot of teams try to blitz Luka, take the ball off his hands. Well, you can do that if you want, but we got another guy that's pretty good. So,
Sorry.
no, I just think it gives us so many options.
A lot has been reported about how you guys have a relationship through Nike and you've known each other before, but what kind of more detail is there? Like, what specific instances have helped you guys form a relationship before he got here?
Oh, I mean, our relationship goes back, since AAU. So, I know him, I know his family, I know the type of person that he is. I think that gives me comfort in bringing him in.
What, at AAU, like, how old was he? What were those interactions like when he's a teenager?
He was always I think from his junior year on, he was always number 1, 2 in the country. So my job was to make sure I knew the number 1 and 2 in the country. So no, he was always a top player. So being that, I knew all the top players.
And you obviously were recruiting him then, right? And here it is. He's got the rest of the season on his contract, and then there's going to be some business discussions. What's kind of the approach to trying to make this a long-term relationship with Kyrie and the Mavericks?
I think it's easy. I think we get a few months and some playoff games to really see how this thing works, and then once we see how it works, then we see, okay, well, how do we make the future really good?
What was your first conversation? So once the trade went through, what was your first conversation like after that with Kyrie? How did that go?
It was all love. It was like, hey, coming back home, just because of our relationship. It was all love.
And how do you think that those, not only with you, but also Jason, how much do you think that that's going to ease the transition for him? Because you'll be able to give him insight about Mavericks culture, vice versa.
Yeah, I think, Kyrie said it several times. He wants to be a place where he feels respected, feels like, he can, be himself. And my job is to take away all the distractions so he can just focus on basketball in a place that he feels loved. So I think that's my job's kind of easy.
How long had you guys had interest in acquiring Kyrie if he were to be available? Obviously, this past weekend was not the first time that his future in Brooklyn was in doubt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we everybody knows, we've been talking about bringing another star in here to go alongside Luka. So you name that star, we've looked at it. We figured out how we could bring him in. So not just exclusive to Kyrie, but all the top players in the NBA.
What's your reaction to everything that happened at trade deadline, specifically Western Conference?
I don't know why they brought so many All-Stars over from the East.
Well, you did it too.
They don't have to follow us and do what we do.
I was going to say it might be your fault.
We
Trendsetters.
were fine with being the only one. No, I think it's good. It's competition. So let's go. I like our guys.
Where were you when the Kevin Durant trade went down? Where did you see it after the game in LA?
Where was I?
Like when you found out?
I think I was eating dinner. And I didn't even believe it. I was like, nah, that didn't happen. So I had to go, start looking on my phone.
With Spencer going out in the trade for Kyrie, do you still view a third ball handler as a need for the roster moving forward?
No, I think we have a third ball handler. I think Josh Green has shown that he can handle the ball. He's ran the offense even when Luka wasn't out there. So I think if you look across the board, we got ball handling covered at a high level.
What are the prospects, or maybe there's none, or the chances of you guys entering the buyout?
We're gonna look at it closely. If there's something that we think can help strengthen our bench, then we'll definitely do it for sure.
What would you say, or what needs would you identify in terms of strengthening? What are you guys looking at?
I think we have most of the things covered. I just think depth. If there's some wing depth out there that makes sense, maybe some defense, then we'll look at that.
How do you feel about the defense now?
Well, we get Maxey back
That's true.
pretty soon, so I think once we get Maxey back, I feel good about our defense.
Okay.
Is there anything
about
from,
your offense?
I definitely feel good about the offense.
and then with Kyrie's fit specifically with Luka, what from Wednesday's game? Was there anything from Wednesday's game that really encouraged you or made you felt that once Luka is back that it's going to be a seamless fit, especially as it relates to Kyrie's off-ball nature?
No, not from the game. I just think if you look back at Kyrie, like he's played with a ball dominant person. He's played with LeBron, so he can play on the ball, he can play off the ball. In all those situations, he's been an all-star and played at a high level. So I don't worry about it. I think talent wins out, and when you have really talented people that aren't one-dimensional, they can play off each other. And so I think at the end of the day, when you have really talented people, they'll figure it out.
Jay Kidd mentioned after the game the other night that it is going to be a challenge for Luka, but he thinks he's up for the challenge of playing with another superstar. Well, how do you see Luka, maybe adapting to play with another guy who's a Hall of Fame level talent?
Again, I think when you have really talented people, they'll figure it out. The other thing too is it's going to make Luka's job easier. You guys have seen the games. Luka's had to work really hard, so Kyrie will help take some of that load off, and so that when he plays now, it's a freer game for him.
Mark Cuban said the other night that this was a deal that Luka wanted. Was this something like he expressed to you in person or texting, or how do those conversations go?
Yeah, so one of the things Luka obviously wants, he wants to compete for a championship, so he always wants us to bring in enough talent to do that. So he definitely wants us to bring in players that he feels can help him. But it wasn't specific to Kyrie specifically. It was just bringing talent. And then when we had a chance to bring Kyrie, obviously, hey, we have a chance to do this. You good with it? And he's like, let's do it. So.
At what point, I'm curious about the timeline of 2 days, do you start to present that to Luka? Is it right away before you spend much time on it, or is it like the last kind of sign off to make sure that he's on board?
Nico, you look good. No.
It's the light, right?
You gotta let the jerks go by first. I think you do it when there's a chance. When there's a chance that it could happen. You want to know that you have a chance, because you don't want to introduce ideas that have no chance at all and get people excited and get their hopes up. So I think once we figured out that we did have a chance, it might be a possibility, then throw it to him. We've had so many conversations about players I know his likes, and so I wasn't really worried about it, but I do want to make sure that he's in the know of what we're trying to do.
Has that relationship with Luka in terms of his at least having active conversations with you about what he does like, has that changed since you came in? Is he taking a more active role? Again, not in trying to do your job, but just sharing what he's interested in.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed. I think it's grown.
Okay.
As our relationship's grown, I think those conversations have grown and we'll continue to have more of them.